This is Louis Kavoris, and this is Chapter 6, Language. You know, when I first started creating this chapter that eventually will be a book, this chapter of lectures, um, I wanted to use language because so many people have talked about art as a language. So I wanted to sort of explore that. Now, I really, from my research, was not prepared with what I would find because what I found is that art is so linked to language that part of the reason we as humans are able to develop art is because we've been able to develop language. So the two things are so tied together that if one of them weren't true, I don't think we would have the other one. If we didn't have an ability to make art, we wouldn't have language. And if we didn't have a language, an ability to make languages and understand languages, we wouldn't make art. So that's one thing that if you can put your head around, it just astounds me every time I think about it. And every time I explore works of art as language systems. We're going to try and do that. I'm going to show you some examples. And hopefully this will intrigue you. And then when you look at works of art, this becomes yet another window. Is this a language system? And what is the language that this artist has created? Now, I'll say this. Most choreographers, most designers, most visual artists, most artists, when works of art really work, they are language systems that work, that we can understand them in the same way as when someone writes a brilliant paper or a brilliant sentence, we can understand it and think, that's really beautifully said. That's really beautiful how all of those things come together. Yeah, so there's a language system there. That's the thing I really want you to get excited about here and to look at. So this is language. Now, we'll begin with one quick thing. I love to start with this because it's one of the most beautiful things I think written about somebody dancing. And it was written by Edward Gordon Craig when he was looking at Isadora Duncan. And, you know, Edward Gordon Craig was infatuated and in love with Isadora Duncan. And they had children together. They never married, but they had quite a passionate love affair. What I love about this is it really is one of the most beautiful things. And those of us who are dancers in the room, we can hope that someone sees us dancing and says something so beautiful about us. Here's what he said. Edward Gordon Craig, the first time he saw Isadora Duncan, said this. She was speaking her own language, not echoing any ballet master, and so she came to move as no one had ever seen anyone move before. The dance ended, and again she stood quite still. No bowing, no smiling, nothing at all. And then the music was off, and she runs after it. It runs after her then, for she has gone ahead of it. How is it that we know that she is speaking her own language? Well, we know it, for we see her head, her hands, gently active, as are her feet, her whole person. And if she is speaking, what is it that she is saying? No one would ever be able to report truly. Yet no one person had a moment's doubt. Only this can we say, that she was telling to the air the very things we longed to hear, and until she came, we had never dreamed we would or should hear. And now we heard them, and this sent us all into an unusual state of joy, and I just sat still and speechless. Now, I love that. I love the fact that he's talking about her creating something that it's as if the things that we had wanted to say, that she was saying them. And he's using words that connote a language. Martha Graham said that dance is communication, that it is that kind of a language system. So this is really just quite beautiful. And I love the fact that at the end, he's saying all these words, but in the end he says, and I'm speechless. I have no words for this, which again kind of points us to what we often think about art, is that as a language system, it's powerful, and it's because we can't put it in words. And so we draw it, we paint it, we dance it, um, we design it, and we do it because there are no words that are enough for it. Yeah, fantastic. So welcome to chapter 6, language.